Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for Kitaholic Kits, and I am using the June 2022 kit. Hard to believe we are in June. Oh my goodness. I almost feel like I need to start getting my Christmas decorations ready. All right, so my layout today is a work in progress. This is definitely a layout that I had no real plans for, other than I knew I wanted to use those gorgeous circles from that patterned paper. And then when I was sitting there staring at them, I remembered that I'd cut out the guts of one of the other pattern pieces of paper for a previous layout, and I thought I could do some layering with those circles. So I cut, and then I wanted to also use the outside of that patterned paper with the circles as a border, because it has some wonderful, almost mixed media-y type edging as well. So I thought that would be perfect. So to do that, I just stabbed a little hole near one of the circles and then did some fussy cutting around all of them. Then I glued that piece down onto the section there of the border. Now it was almost to the edge. So what I do is then grab a piece of white cardstock and back both of those pieces onto some white cardstock. I ended up with glue everywhere. So it was much easier to have done that as well. So it meant then it's all stuck down and we were good to go. So I'm just sticking that down there with some of my just my tape, and it worked perfectly. So the photo I'm scrapping today is a photo of me and one of my wonderful friends, Sharon. A group of us went up to visit Rockhampton in central Queensland several months ago, and I took this selfie of both of us then. It was such a wonderful weekend away and getting an opportunity to scrap and catch up with after so many months and a couple of years basically in sort of southeast Queensland. All right, so back onto the layout. I have distressed those edges with my fingernails as well once I'd stuck all that down, just to give a little bit of dimension and sectioning out that so it's a clear section of the background. I'm just starting to look now about where I'm going to put these circles that I've cut out. And I really sort of am trying to get a little bit of a tone-on-tone type feel here. So the green circles around the area where the green is on that patterned paper, the blues and the oranges, etc. So I'm just looking there around where this is all going to fit. Then I distress the edges of all of those circles and just to give that wonderful dimension on the page as well. And I also ink the edges of them as well, just to give a little bit added, to give the difference, I guess, to pop it off the page and give that definition between the patterned paper and the circles. And I really, really love how these ended up turning out. My idea at this stage is that all of those circles will then have some embellishments or some word phrases or something like that on them. At this stage, I haven't got that far. I really did not think about how I was going to pull those together. But I did want to use some more of our mixed media from this kit. It was such a wonderful mixed media kit this month. I hope if you haven't had a chance to use it, please do. It is a lot of fun. Now, I have not gessoed or anything across this patterned paper because I wasn't going to put a lot of liquids. Well, actually, I don't put any liquids on there really, except for some splatters. And I'm just using the gorgeous metallic-y sort of, I don't know what that colour is. I can't remember the colour that it's called. And just randomly placing some of that using the heart stencil. So I hadn't used that heart stencil this month, so I was really happy to get an opportunity to do that. And then I thought, I need to grunge this up just a little bit more to really bring in that paste that I've used. So I turned over the stencil and just randomly patted that down all over the page. And oh my goodness, I love how this turned out. It then changed my thought around what else I needed to do on this background. So I've really created this patterned paper and then added this mixed media onto it to really change a little bit and well, actually quite a lot of the background. Just finishing off with that inking of the circles, just so I could really pop them off the page. Once I'd put that the stenciling work down, I really felt they were going to get lost on the page, which is why I added in all that ink, etc., around the edges. Now I do come in here to add some splatters, so I've really gone a little bit more grungier, I guess, with this layout as it started to grow, and I've added some black splatters, and I'm using my fan brush just because it gives me the opportunity to make really quite tiny splatters. I love that brush. And I just watered down some Liquitex black ink and spread that all around the page just to add that extra level of depth around the page. Now you'll also see sitting there is my gold Kaiser Carafe spray from my stash, and I went to town with this. I really wanted to give a little bit of shine to the page now that I'd created sort of that grungier sort of look to it, but I wanted to give it a bit of a lift, and I add a heap of gold splatters to that page, and I really, really, really love how that turned out. I think it's really made the layout and really gave me an opportunity then to really sort of go outside a little bit of what I was originally sort of thinking in my head that I would do with this layout. So as always, I will pop in the description box below all the information about where you can get the kits from, and you can get information about even becoming a subscriber. We have a separate subscriber group on Facebook, which we have lots of fun with. The design team always have exclusives to share every month, and we also have challenges. We chat. Last month, for example, in May, I did a photo a day, which was heaps of fun. And yeah, so we strongly encourage you to have a look at these kits, subscribe for a few months, and just check out how much quality product you get in them. The kits are always beautifully curated by Steph, and we always have lots of things that can match from different collections. Like this one was predominantly Vicky Boot and Sweet Rush, but added in with some Pink Fresh Studio, and it just matched beautifully. All right, so back to my layout for a little bit. I am just looking here and backing my photos with some of the cut apart pieces that were still left in the stash in my little kit there. And I've created quite narrow borders there, but I have used as many of the colors I used the yellow and the greens because I wanted the yellow and the green to really pop off the page. And there's a little bit of a sort of a crafty color there as well. And I thought that was a really nice base to pop the photo onto. I also have popped that up on some foam as well. And the circles that I cut out have also been popped up on foam as well, just to give that added dimension. I talk about it all the time. I always love to have lots of dimension on my pages, and popping up things on foam is one of my favorite things to do. So yeah, everything is popped up on foam there. And now I'm just getting to have a look at how I'm going to embellish this. I sort of was a little bit stuck at first because there were so many circles, and I thought maybe I need to tailor it back, but I really loved them. So I was going back and forth. And then I really started to get to the point where it was tone on tone. I really went for the pink flowers to sit on the pink patterned paper, and some of the blues and things like that. So I tried to, where I could, absolutely do tone on tone in some way. So that yellow one on the top right hand side has got some yellow in the flower, although there is pink, but it is still toned back with that matching yellow circle. I'm using that tag there that was part of the ephemera pack in the kit, just chillin'. That was a perfect match to all of the colors that I used in that collection. And then I just play around with the cardstock stickers to see what else I can put on the layout. And then it was just a case of sticking things down, adding things in, having a bit of a play, and just finding the right spots for some of the cardstock stickers and embellishments. And I really, really love how this one turned out in the end. It certainly grew from where I'd originally sort of started planning, and it became quite busy. But if you've been following me for a little while, you'll know most of my layouts tend to get quite busy and overwhelming. But where I do try to tailor it back is giving some space between some of the embellished areas for this one, because it was becoming quite heavy. I pop a little bit of flowers just underneath, tuck that under along the edge of the square of patterned paper that I've popped in the middle, and I felt that that really grounded some of the page as well. To finish off the layout, I do come back in and add some more splatters to the page, and I also add in just a few sayings and a few extra little bits and pieces as I faff about. I did make sure that I used some pretty tacky glue for this particular layout because there was so much mixed media and I was making it quite heavy, so I wanted to make sure everything was going to be stick down and stay down. So I'm using my fine liner bottle with some Scotch tacky glue, which I also got from in-store, so you should check that out. I'm sure there's possibly still some, or Steph can get that in for you as well. Just adding in just a little bit of more embellishing around the photo. I felt that there was just a little bit more of a gap there that was sort of bugging me. And then I realized I still had a couple of the circles left, so I was able to just pop that back in and give the bottom of that right-hand side just a little bit of an anchoring to the page as well. It sort of felt like it was out there on its own. So I did ink up the edges like I did with all the others and distress the edges as well. And that is almost it. Just a few extra pieces. I do put some enamel dots in the center of some of the flowers, just to add a little bit of sparkle, I guess. Finishing off with a little bit of sprays as well. And then we are done. So I want to thank you as always for joining me today. I have some close-ups to share, and I hope that I've given you some inspiration, and I hope you're all having a great time playing this month with this month's kit. I can't wait to get started on next month. Oh my goodness, July. All right, thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.